Then they showed him the letters in his writing, and with his seal. And when Ahikar saw this, his limbs trembled and his tongue was tied at once, and he was unable to speak a word from fear. But he hung his head towards the earth and was speechless. And when the king saw this, he felt certain that the thing was from him. And he arose at once and commanded them to kill Ahikar and to strike his neck with the sword outside of the city. Then Nadin screamed and said, Ahikar, blackface, what good did your meditation or your power bring you in the doing of this deed to the king? This is what that storyteller said. And the name of the swordsman was Abu Samik. And the king said to him, Swordsman, arise and go. Sever the neck of Ahikar at the door of his house, and cast away his head from his body 100 cubits. A cubit is about 18 inches. 100 cubits is about 150 feet. Then Ahikar knelt before the king and said, Let my lord the king live forever, and if you desire to kill me, let your wish be fulfilled. But I know that I am not guilty. The wicked man has to give an account of his wickedness. Nevertheless, my lord the king, I beg of you and of your friendship, permit the swordsman to give my body to my slaves, that they may bury me, and let your slave be your sacrifice. The king arose and commanded the swordsman to do with him according to his desire. And then there he commanded his servants to take Ahikar and the swordsman, and for Ahikar to go with him naked, that they might kill him. And when Ahikar knew for certain that he was to be killed, he sent to his wife and said to her, Come out and meet me, and let there be with you 1,000 young virgins, and dress them in gowns of purple and silk, that they may weep for me for my death. And prepare a table for the swordsman and for his servants, and mingle plenty of wine, that they may drink. And she did all that he commanded her. And she was very wise, clever, and prudent, and she brought into action all of her possible courtesy and learning. And when the army of the king and the swordsmen arrived, they found the table set in order, and the wine and the luxurious foods, and they began eating and drinking until they were gorged and drunken. Then Ahikar took the swordsman aside apart from the company and said, Abu Samik, do you not know that when Sar-Hadun the king, the father of Sennacherib, wanted to kill you, I took you and hid you in a certain place until the king's anger subsided and he asked for you. And when I brought you into his presence, he rejoiced in you. Now remember the kindness I did you. And I know that the king will change his mind about me, and will be angry with a great rage about my execution. Because I am not guilty, and it shall be when you shall present me before him in his palace, you shall meet with great good fortune, and know that Nadin, my sister's son, has deceived me and has done this bad deed to me, and the king will be sorry for having slain me. Now I have a cellar in the garden of my house, and no one knows of it. Hide me in it with the knowledge of my wife. And I have a slave in prison whom deserves to be killed. Bring him out and dress him in my clothes, and command the servants when they are drunk to slay him. They will not know whom it is they are killing. And cast away his head 100 cubits from his body, and give his body to my slaves, that they may bury it. And you shall have laid up a great treasure with me. I will owe you greatly. And then the swordsman did as Ahikar had commanded him. And he went to the king and said to him, May your head live forever. This is a wicked pun, but refers to the continuation of a king's dynasty through his wisdom. Then Ahikar's wife let down to him in the hiding place every week what sufficed for him, and no one knew of it but herself. And the story was reported and repeated and spread abroad in every place of how Ahikar the sage had been killed and was dead, and all the people of that city mourned for him. And they wept and said, "Pity for you, Ahikar, and for your learning and your courtesy. How sad about you and about your knowledge. Where can another like you be found? And where can there be a man so intelligent, so learned, so skilled in ruling, as to resemble you, that he may fill your place?" But the king was repenting about Ahikar, and his repentance brought him nothing.